Good morning, everyone. Well, today we get to finish up on the bad stuff in Revelation. We get a chance to get back to a pleasant story tomorrow, and from then on until we finish. We're in the midst of what this is going to clean up, what we're going to read about today. We're in the midst of it, so don't get anxious about what's going on. Don't worry about it. Don't sit there and say, God, you got to fix this. He's going to. It's in his plans. I'm trying to get the... I'm back. One of our fishermen, local guys, was walking back in because he wasn't sure if it was going to rain. I've looked at the weather. It's doing like it does a lot of times in this area. Some going north, some going south, but it's just a little itty-bitty band of rain in the middle of it. So we're good. I got the window open. I'm not worried about it. Okay, so we get to see this last bit. Now this is the cleanup. All the seal judgments, the bowl, or the trumpet judgments, and the bowl judgments are all done. The people of the world still don't get it. They still don't want God. So he's going to come through now and clean up, get rid of the people that have been causing all the trouble. So that's why I say, don't get involved with these. You can't win this battle. This is God's battle to fight, not yours. Resist, of course. Stay alive, of course. Do what you need to do that, but don't go out there and start fighting these people in the street. That's exactly what they want. They want to make a spectacle out of it. They want to show how they can beat up people on earth. And they can. Satan is the ruler down here. You can't fight him. You can't fight him spiritually. You can't fight him physically on your own. God can fight anybody, and does. So just let him. So anyhow, we're going to continue on in Revelation 17, where we get to see the harlot, or the great prostitute. Technically, it's a mini kingdom as opposed to an individual, but the idea is there. And of course, the beast, which is the Antichrist. Okay, Revelation 17:1. And there came one of the seven angels that had the seven bowls, and spake with me, King James again, saying, Come hither, and I will show thee the judgment of the great harlot that sitteth upon many waters. We're getting to see these in detail. We've had a lot of this stuff covered earlier, as I've talked about. We're getting to see it in detail, and then he's going to explain it to make sure that we know who these people are. Now, he's not going to name names as far as this is Joe Smith or whatever, or Fred or whatever the name might be, or Elon Musk, or take your George Soros. We're not going to know names out of the Bible. We don't need to. We're not even 100% sure on the timing on a lot of this stuff. That's why I'm not doing a timeline. It's irrelevant to have a timeline. One, because we won't be here, and two, what would you do different if you knew tomorrow there was going to have whatever the judgment was? What would you do different? If you're a Christian, you're already serving God, so it doesn't matter. If you're not a Christian and you're holding out, these things are for you, to wake you up, to have you see, okay, this is the world that I want. This whole planet, solar system, universe is all going to be destroyed. We don't know how much of it. We're going to get a new planet, and a new heaven and a new earth. What does that entail? I don't know. We don't even know the full definition of this heaven and earth yet. Okay. Sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth committed fornication, and they that dwell on the earth were made drunken with the wine of her fornication. Terms being used here are typical of what you would expect for a harlot. selling herself, essentially. This harlot has been buying and selling the world at her beckoning, setting up the things that we're seeing, and the beast has been helping. But the beast will eventually stand alone. And he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet-colored beast full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. He's going to explain some of this. Okay, so I'm not going to. We're just going to keep reading. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet, royalty, self-appointed, and decked with gold and precious stone and pearls, having in her a golden cup of abominations, things that are against God, even the unclean things of her fornication. So all the unclean things of the world, I mean, we're seeing it now. That's this woke idea that you can teach children to be sexual at age 3 and 5 and all that stuff. That's all garbage. That's the fornication that's going on. Protect your children, but don't retaliate. Let God deal with it. And upon her forehead a name written, Mystery, comma, Babylon. Some people don't read the comma and they say, Mystery Babylon. Who's Mystery Babylon? We know who Babylon is, but who's Mystery Babylon? No, it's mystery. It is a mystery because we don't know. That's why I'm not going to try to explain everything with conjecture. We're going to look at it word for word and pick it out that way. Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. So the mother of other harlots and abominations of the earth. This is not good from an earthly point of view. And 6. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of saints. She is responsible for the martyrs, for the Christian martyrs. There will be a lot of them. Those that don't make it out on the pre-trib rapture and accept Christ during the, quote, tribulation time frame may end up being martyred. Now, they're not going to kill everybody off because there's got to be somebody to go into the millennium, but it's going to be a remnant. So the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus, and when I saw her, I wondered with a great wonder. So here we get the explanation. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou wonder? Why are you wondering? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carries her. See that? We got the 10 horns, or 7 horns and 10. What did I get it? I got it backwards now, and I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, well. It's going to be explained here in a second, so I'll just keep my mouth shut. The mystery of the woman of the beast that carries her, which has the 7 heads and 10 horns. That's what I was trying to get straight. I get ahead of myself, and then I can't, like Curly on the Three Stooges. I'm trying to think, and nothing happens. So the angels explain this. The beast thou sawest, and is not, and is about to come up out of the abyss and go into perdition. This is the super demon taking over and becoming the Antichrist. Because we got the 7 pseudo-kings or heads. One dies and becomes the 8th. That's the Antichrist. And then the demon that possesses him to become the Antichrist. They're all going to go to perdition, which is the fiery pit. They're going to go to hell initially, but don't worry, hell's only temporary. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, they whose name has not been written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast, how that he was, is not, and shall come. He gets killed, probably by the 2 witnesses, comes back to life, and then he kills the 2 witnesses. Okay, I speculated there. I shouldn't have done that. most people think that the two witnesses kill the Antichrist, or the person that's soon to become the Antichrist. Here is the mind that has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. So there's 7 areas of power, 7 cities represented by the mountains. So it's a worldwide power base. So they take over the world. We're seeing the current leaders of the world taken down. The United States being the most predominant good country. We got problems. We had problems before, but they're really going to be taken over. That's why I keep telling you to prep. You're going to have to ride this up till the end until we get taken out of here. And none of us know the timing of that. And they are the 7 kings. 5 have fallen. The one is, the other is not yet to come. And when he cometh, he must continue for a little while. So that's the Antichrist. Okay? And the beast that was and is not is himself also an 8th. And is of the 7th, and he goeth into perdition. So we can see it's matching what was written before. And the 10 horns that thou sawest are the 10 kings who have received no kingdom as of yet, but they receive authority as kings with the beast for 1 hour. Now, is it literally for 1 hour? Or is that in God's terms? A day is as 1,000 years. How long is an hour? Are we doing that? I don't know. It doesn't say. Just know that they're going to have power given to them by the world for a little while. These have one mind, and they give their power and authority unto the beast. The Antichrist. These shall war against the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords, King of kings, and they shall also overcome, that are with him. Let me read that again. For he is the Lord of lords, King of kings, and they also shall overcome that are with him, the beast. No, with him. I don't like King James. They modify things, the order of things. Okay. He shall war against the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords, King of kings, and they shall also overcome that are with him, called and chosen and faithful. So he's not going to be alone to fight the beast. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the harlot sitteth, are the peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. Every time we see that, I've told you before, that means the whole world. And the 10 horns which thou sawest, and the beast, these shall hate the harlot, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and shall burn her utterly with fire. So, the first one to be destroyed is the harlot. Mystery, Babylon the Great. Babylon that was not destroyed in the Old Testament comes back and tries to take over. For God did put in their hearts to do his mind, and to come of one mind, and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God should be accomplished. So, all this bad that's happening, God isn't making it happen, he's allowing it to happen. God cannot issue out wrath and bad things. All good and perfect things come from above. He can't issue bad. So Satan and his team, they're more than happy to issue the bad, and God is letting them do it, which I think is the reason that he's here. God could have destroyed Lucifer at any time. He could have not created him because he knew what was going to happen. but he's being a useful tool to give people a choice. And the woman who thou sawest is the great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Is this New York, Paris, London? We don't know. Wherever the great city is that she's ruling from, that's technically the home base for the harlot. But the kings are helping. They're part of it. She's riding on the beast, so she's riding on the back of the Antichrist until he gets tired of it. Continuing on in chapter 18, verse 1. After these things I saw another angel coming down out of heaven. I'm feeling just a little bit of water. It's sprinkling a little bit. Coming out of heaven, having great authority, and the earth was lightened with his glory. Angels seemed to glow. And he cried with a mighty voice, saying, Fallen, fallen of Babylon, fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great, and is become a habitation of demons, and a hold of every unclean spirit, and a hold of every unclean and hateful bird. Just not good stuff. And by the wine of the wrath of her fornication, all the nations are fallen, and the kings of the earth committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth waxed rich by the power of her wantonness. They made money off of this. Whenever somebody makes a lot of money, it's somebody giving up all that money. Because there's only so much. It's the poor giving up their money to the rich. This is essentially what's happening. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come forth, my people, out of her, that you have no fellowship with her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. So she's going to get a good amount of punishment. So he's calling the Jews out of her. Talking about God's people at this point. Christians can be adopted and brought in with that, but we're in the 70th week, so he's talking specifically to the chosen. And that's what they're doing now. They're calling people back to Israel because they're being tormented all around the world. For her sins have reached even unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. Render unto her even as she rendered, and double unto her the double according to her works. In the cup which she has mingled under her double. So pay her back double for what she has caused. How much soever she glorified herself and waxed wanton, so much give her the torment of the morning. For she saith in her heart, I sit as queen, I am no widow, and shall in no wise see mourning. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and this harlot is corrupted. Therefore in one day shall her plagues come, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord who judged her. Verse 9, And the kings of the earth who committed fornication and lived wantonly with her shall weep and wail over her when they look upon the smoke of her burning. Is a city on fire, burning? How much of this is allegory, how much of it's real? I don't know. But God is allowing the punishment to carry out. Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Woe, woe, the great city Babylon, the strong city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. It's going to happen fast. The rain is coming down. Harder and harder. Let me see if I can bring up some of this so that I can continue. Because I'm not done yet. Okay, sorry the view's gone. Okay. And the merchants of the earth weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth her merchandise anymore. I don't know what she's doing. She's selling t-shirts, or she's selling food, oil, gasoline. They're owning everything. These rich kings, which are basically billionaires, they're buying up everything. They can't stop the sale of guns and ammunition. Well, what happens if they go in and they buy the stores that, or the manufacturing plants that make guns and ammunition? They can control it that way, and that's legal. They just won't make any. They think they're smarter than God. Not. Don't buy her merchandise anymore. Merchandise of gold and silver and precious stone and pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all fine wood and every vessel of ivory and vessel made of the most precious wood and in brass and in iron and marble. Just all this stuff, and cinnamon and spice and incense and ointment and frankincense and wine and oil. I'm just reading what it says here. I'm running on, but that's what the sentence is doing. And wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and cattle and sheep and merchandise of horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. Yeah, that's what she's selling. She's taken them over. And the fruits which thy soul lusted afterward are gone from thee. All these things that you tried to get, or the world tried to get, all these worldly possessions that we have to have, she's taken them all, and you got to buy them from her. All things that were dainty and sumptuous and perish from thee, and men shall find them no more at all. The merchants of these things who are made rich by her shall stand afar off for fear of her torment, weeping and mourning. God's dealing out punishment to her first. They're standing back because they don't want it. But it's coming, saying, woe, woe to the great city that she has arrayed in fine linen and purple, and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stone and pearl. Of course, she's going to be arrayed in all this stuff because she thinks that she's in charge of it all. For in 1 hour so great riches is made desolate, and every shipmaster and every one that saileth any whither, and mariners, and as many as gained by the living of the sea, stood afar off. So she's doing the shipments from this great city around the world, and cried out as they looked upon the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like the great city? And they cast dust on their heads, and crying and weeping. You know, that's what they did back then. Remember Lot covering himself with ashes, and some of the New Testament people doing that. Woe, woe to the great city wherein all that had their ships in the sea were made rich by reason of her coastlines. So this is a coastal city. For in 1 hour she was made desolate. Somebody drop a bomb on this city? A nuclear bomb would do something like this. In 1 hour. She is made desolate. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye saints, and ye apostles and prophets, for God has judged your judgment on her. All that she's done to the world and to the Christians and Jews especially, God will take care of it. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. So don't worry. We're seeing it happen here. And a strong angel took up a stone, as it were, a great millstone, and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with a mighty fall shall Babylon, the great city, be cast down, and shall be found no more at all. So they weren't destroyed in the beginning. They were scattered like they were told. Now they're being destroyed. And the voice of the harpers and the minstrels and flute players and the trumpets shall be heard no more at all in thee. So they're rock bands that are in there playing their evil rock music. I'm not talking about what's done today necessarily. I mean, there are evil singers and players out there, but I'm talking about those that were playing just for the harlot. And no craftsman of whatsoever craft shall be found any more at all in thee. And the voice of the mill shall be heard no more in all of thee. And the light of the lamp shall shine no more at all in thee. He's making a point. And the voice of the bridegroom, you know who that is, and of the bride shall be heard no more in thee, for thy merchants were the princes of the earth. We have our bridegroom. She has hers. Just like they said in the days of Noah, they were marrying and given in marriage. No more in the great city. For thy merchants were the princes of the earth, and with thy sorcery were all the nations deceived. And in her was found the blood of the prophets and of the saints and of all that had been slain upon the earth. So the beast is gone, not the beast is gone, the harlot is gone. The ones that are causing all the stuff that we're seeing are gone. So yes, they are destroying the earth. They are destroying people and businesses. They're going to own everything. Charles Schwab says, you will own nothing and be happy. Well, that's all of it that I have here for today's video, and we're probably, we're running long. I had to cover these chapters so I could be done with this. There's a little tiny bit of stuff left, but most of it's all good stuff. Okay? We have some good stuff coming up in 19, and then in 20, we go into the millennium, if I remember my verses right. That's the problem that I have with my mind, is my mind can't remember this stuff. So I have to look it up and write it down, or cut and paste it into my laptop here so I can read it to you. I cut it and paste it out of the Bible into a big text that I can blow it up so I can read it without my glasses. Because if I read directly, I got to put my glasses on. All right. All this stuff that's coming, we don't have to worry about, but the world does. And they don't see it happening. Right in front of their eyes, businessmen are going to work every day, investing in this world, and they don't see it happening. They're sending their kids off to school. Now, the schools are being destroyed right now. So they're done with it. They're done with their propaganda. It has worked. There's no propaganda needed anymore, not from the schools anyway, because they've already dumbed down the current generation coming out of school at the college level. That's why there's riots on college campuses. It's paid for. There are instigators that are out there that are doing this, or are getting paid to do this. But the school's allowing it. The people are allowing it, because the school boards and the people in charge of academia, they're part of the harlot system. They already had the Kool-Aid. So there's nothing you can do to stop the things that are going to happen here soon. We've just been covering all these. They're not good. We're going to be here until we can't do any more good. God's not going to allow all of his people to just suffer through all this stuff. If you're post-trib, I'm sorry that that's the way you feel about things. But God would not make his people suffer. We are not subject to wrath. The Bible says so. We have the wrath of God in the second half. We're not going to get that. So we know we're not in the second half. We're also the restraining force. So we're not in the first half either. We're going to be out of here at some point in the beginning before all this stuff starts. How far? I don't know. It's called a rapture for a reason. We're being snatched away. I keep saying this. It could be that the final war, we know that the Antichrist is going to give the, quote, peace plan. There has to be war up to that point for him to have peace. There's no need for him if there's not a war. So are we going to be in that war? And we're going to come out, we're going to be snatched away just before he gets the peace plan? That might be a good time. I don't know. We would recognize him as Christians, so we have to be out of here. All right, I'm talking too much, so let me end this. We're going to switch to good news from now on after this. And I'm not going to come back and revisit this. There's no need to. I think we're out of here this year, personally. That's my personal opinion. I can't back it up with Scripture. The fig tree, when you look at it, you will know the season. And we're told to be watchmen. So we are. Till we meet in the clouds. God bless. Just got back from running into town. And I have a meeting going on over here. I don't know what they're talking about, but I didn't bring them any food. And there's more down below. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Turkey buzzards. Not turkeys, or I'd be eating good for a week. Have a blessed day.